Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Shannon. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope by the end of the video you might consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell because I'd love to see you here next time. We have an amazing group over here. I've been so blessed with the people that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. I couldn't ask for a more amazing group of people. I've had such a wonderful time kind of getting to know everyone, and so thank you to everyone that is already subscribed. I say it in every video, but I truly mean it, you guys. I'm sure as you guessed by the title, we're gonna be talking about brow tips. Brows are a struggle. They are a struggle. It took me the longest time, or so it feels, to kind of master my perfect brow routine. And even still to this day, I have days where I'm just like, what's going on with these brows? If you watch my lives on Saturday, you probably know that, because some Saturdays they're perfect. Some Saturdays it seems like it takes me an hour to do my brows. If you're curious about that, I go live every Saturday for a full face get ready with me at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to see you there. All right, so if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes just like last time. If my lash tips are up, if not, they'll be coming soon. All right, number one is put away the zoom mirror. That's what I call it. So obviously that means the magnifying mirror. Whenever I break that thing out, number one, I see things that I don't want to see. And number two, I find that when I break it out, I overpluck. So definitely put that mirror away. It's gonna cause more harm than good, I promise you. Take my word for that. Number two, pluck as minimally as possible and outline your brows before plucking. So I do pluck in between waxes, there's no doubt about it, but I have found that if I take, it could be any brow product, whatever you use, but if I take, like, say, a brow pencil and do my outline, I find that I pluck far less than what I pluck when I don't outline, and it will also ensure that you're not plucking anything that you shouldn't be plucking. You know what I'm saying? You definitely want to make sure that you're not plucking within your brow range, if you will. So try outlining your brows before plucking, and just if you think for a second that you're gonna overpluck, don't even pluck at all. You know what I mean? Less is more when it comes to plucking. Number three is find your perfect brow product. There are so many brow products. When you first start, it's so overwhelming. It's like, what do I even use? That's how I felt anyways, and I have tried out so many products over the years, you guys, but my favorite preferred way as of late is using my Anastasia Dip Brow, and basically I go in and just sort of do pretty much everything with this here, and then I've basically been setting with my brow powder from Anastasia, and then if I have any areas that just still look sparse, I'll go in with a brow pencil and sort of touch up. Now this is my brow routine if I need my brows to last 12 plus hours. My brows have been on since 7 o'clock this morning. I have not touched them up, and they are already, like, they still look perfect, and it's 4:11. I mean, there's nights that I don't get out of work until 10 o'clock at night, and they still look perfect. So if you're looking for like a long wearing brow routine, pomade. If you're like looking for something more natural, maybe you're just going to the grocery store, it doesn't have to last all day long, brow pencils are the way to go. When I did start applying my brows, I started with a micro brow pencil. So it's just a matter of testing things out and finding the product that you're most comfortable with. I do not think that pomades are the best route for beginners. I think pencils are definitely, or powders are the best way to start when it comes to brows. I think I just gave you one of my tips. Number four is the ABH brow brush is the best. You guys, I have tried probably 30 different brow brushes that I have just sort of decluttered. I know immediately when I pull it out of the package if it's going to be the brow brush. You know what I'm saying? The brow brushes that have just worked the best for me are the ones from ABH. I know they're $18, you guys. Trust me, I have tried to find dupes for this brush, and I've spent more money on trying to find a dupe than just buying a backup of my favorite brow brush. So this is the number 12. They are dirty, you guys. I use them. So this is the number 12. What I love about the Anastasia brushes is they are extremely precise. So it really does do all of the work for you. Now I prefer the number 12. And they do have a spoolie, a really nice spoolie on the other end. I prefer the number 12 for my powder. I find this one to be a little bit less stiff. It's got a little bit more play. So I think this works best with powder, and it kind of allows me to get more like natural sort of strokes. The brush that I prefer for my pomade is the number 7. Is it the 7 or the 7B? I know they have a 7B. Mine just says number 7, but this is my preferred pomade brush. The reason this is my preferred pomade brush is because it is super stiff. There's not a whole lot of play, but it is as precise as it gets. And when it comes to pomades, you definitely want a precise, stiff brush. That's what's going to give you the most precise application. You can see it's razor thin, and it is just, I mean, it's worth every penny of that $18. So the ABH brush is the only brush that I would ever recommend to you guys. Number 5 is get your brows waxed at least, I would say, once a month, no more than every 2 months. If you're gonna manicure them in between, you could probably go 8 weeks. But going monthly will really help you when it comes to, you know, just keeping them tidy in between. I highly recommend the Benefit Brow Bar. I'm not saying that because I work for Ulta, and I'm not saying that because I'm sponsored by Benefit. I'm saying the Benefit Brow Bar is amazing because not only do they map out your brows, they will customize the brow that's best for you. And I just feel like you have options. I feel like you have a little bit of freedom at the Benefit Brow Bar to kind of decide what you want. And they fill them in for you. They wax them, they fill them in for you before you leave. And then also they will tint them for you, which is cool. I've done the tint. I'm not gonna say, I mean, it's nice for like special occasions. It's not something that I would do on the regular. I don't think it's necessarily worth the extra. I think it's $10. Unless it's like a special occasion. But I just love the Benefit Brow Bar. I think they do an amazing job. At least mine in town, she does an amazing job. Number 6 is brow scissors. So these are essential. Most of my trimming is done with these little scissors. So this kind of keeps you from over plucking also, I have found anyways. These guys are super sharp, super precise. You can find them anywhere. Don't cut your tags with them because it will dull them. But yeah, these are amazing little scissors, and they're great to have around. They also are the scissors that I use to trim my lashes. And what I basically use these for is to sort of trim the hairs. I'll basically take the smidgest, tiniest little bit of the hair. I will snip the very, very ends, and what that does is when your brow hairs get super long, they tend to sort of weigh down, if you will. So they're not going to stay up as good as they would as if you trimmed them. I find that when I snip the very tip of my brow hairs, it sort of just makes them whoop, bounce right back into place. So highly recommend a pair of brow scissors. I also use these to sort of trim the top. We're not talking like going in there, but like the very edge of my brow, I'll basically just take the scissor along like so, and it just kind of creates that perfect sort of sharp edge, and I would be lost without these. So definitely recommend picking up a pair of little brow scissors. Number 7 is castor or coconut oil at night. Also, removing your makeup, your eye makeup, with an oil-based remover will help stimulate brow growth. So if you have sparse brows, maybe you've overplucked your brows, maybe you're trying to grow your brows out, I highly recommend taking a little bit of an oil to your brows at night, just on a cotton swab. Also, the Benefit Brow Primer, I think it's called, it's the Brow Conditioning Primer. That works incredible for lash growth. It seems sort of gimmicky, but I've tried it, and I find that I have to manicure my brows far more frequently when I used oil-based eye makeup removers on the regular, or if I go in and just apply that, it's kind of like a serum from Benefit on my brows every night. It's kind of crazy how much hair growth you get from it. Number 8, practice at night. You're gonna take your makeup off anyways, so remove your face and give it a go, and do this every single night until you find the routine that works best for you. That's how I did it. I would practice every single night until I finally felt like I had the hang of it, and that was with my pencil. And then once you get the hang of your brow routine with a pencil, you can kind of take it to the next level and start experimenting with other brow products such as pomades. Number 9, don't stress over perfect, even brows. Honestly, you guys, chances of your brows being perfect every day is like slim to none. They say that your brows should be sisters, not twins. Sometimes mine are distant relatives. Honestly, if somebody is close enough to you to notice that your brow is a millimeter higher than your other, but they're too close. They need to get out of your bubble. You know what I mean? So don't stress about it. Naturally, my brows are shaped differently, so usually I will have to overcompensate on one side or the other to sort of even them out. Just do the best that you can, and eventually you're gonna get the hang of it and your brows are gonna look perfect. But there really is no such thing, in my opinion, as like perfectly symmetrical brows. I'm sure you can make it happen, but the amount of time that would take on the daily, don't fret it, girls. Just don't. All right, number 11, brow tutorials. So when I first started dabbling into brows, I watched tons of brow tutorials. Everybody does it differently. Everybody uses different products, but I think that there's something to be gained from that. You can sort of see what style looks best to you, what you think would suit your brows best, what product seems easiest to work with for you, how to work the different products, what brushes to use. I mean, there's so much to be gained from watching brow tutorials, and I highly recommend it. I will be honest and say maybe don't take every product that they say to get to heart, because there are going to be moments when they're recommending products because there's something in it for them. I'm not saying every YouTuber is that way. I'm just saying you can learn a lot from YouTube when it comes to technique. When it comes to product, just really make sure it's a YouTuber that you trust. And at the end of the day, no matter what anybody recommends, it's really what works best for you, and that's all that matters. What number are we on, guys? Number 12. Go with the natural flow of your brow. Everybody's brows are different. My best suggestion when it comes to starting out is to just go with the natural shape of your natural brow. It's going to probably look most natural if you do that. When you start creating your own situation, sometimes that's when things start to look very artificial or too harsh or overdone. So just keep it natural in the beginning, especially because that's what's going to be easiest, especially when you're just beginning. All right, number 13, set with powder for lasting power. So regardless of whether or not you use a pencil or a pomade, whatever product or creamy product that you put on your brows, try setting it with a powder. That will help with longevity and wear time. Right now, I'm using the Anastasia one because I have this. Would I repurchase this knowing what I know now? No, probably not. There are eyeshadows. I mean, if you have a taupey or whatever shade suits your brows, you probably have that in an eyeshadow is what I'm getting at. So maybe look through your collection just to see what you already have before going out and purchasing something, because at the end of the day, it's a powder, you know what I mean? But setting with the powder will definitely help with wear time. And I also recommend brow gels. The one that I've really been loving is this one here from Maybelline. It's the Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. It's the strangest applicator I've ever seen in my life, but this product is incredible. It has fibers in it. It makes my brows look fluffier, but also it really kind of helps keep them lifted and up throughout the day. So this is also a great option. I typically go in with my pomade first, I'll set with my powder, and then I just sort of top everything off with this guy right here, and my brows last for hours upon hours, and most of the time I don't have to touch up. All right, number 14, make a mistake, use concealer to clean it up. I'm sure you guys have seen this tip. I'm sure you've heard it. But really, concealer is like a magic eraser, especially when it comes to brows. I would recommend keeping a concealer that maybe you don't love under your eyes or on your face around, rather than just throwing it out, to sort of clean things up, especially when you're first starting out. You may make some mistakes, and having a concealer handy will really help with that, as well as a flat brush. Let me see if I can grab mine, you guys, but you know what I mean, just like a flat, here it is, let me get it. Any kind of flat brush like this is really going to help when it comes to applying the concealer. I just basically, on the doe foot, I'll rub my brush, and then I'll just sort of bring this right below, a very, very small amount. And then I usually will just drag the concealer down all the way over my eyelid, and that's what I've been using for eyeshadow primer. So one of those brushes is always useful. And number 15, my last tip is, when you're first starting out or practicing with your brows, try to do your brows before you do your makeup. So make it your first step in your makeup application, aside from moisturizing, obviously, because if you mess up, it's much easier to just remove them and start over than to have a full base on and have to start from scratch because you made a mistake that's not correctable. So that is my last tip. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions, please link them down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this. If you do, give it a thumbs up, and maybe I can make some more tip videos in the future. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.